Hi there, and welcome to Kelly Bailey Fitness. So today we are going to be doing a glute-focused leg day. So right now, a lot of the ladies are looking to grow their glutes, and aesthetically, like, it's a thing right now, but from a health perspective, the stronger the backside of your body is and your lower body is, the better your health outcomes are gonna be over time. So I am all for a good leg day, and today we're gonna make it glute focused. So please make sure that you warm up before doing this workout. And in the interest of time, we're only gonna be doing 2 sets of each exercise. That said, ideally you will do 3 sets of each exercise. So you can go ahead and you can pause this, or you can hit the pause on your TV, and or if you're watching on YouTube, you can pause and you can do the final set. So we're gonna be doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps for each of the exercises. There are 4 exercises. Now, everybody is kind of like, you know, if you look at science, if you look at all the influencers, everybody has something to say about exercise order. I have my own opinions about exercise order and the types of exercises you do for lower body and glutes, but I'm gonna give you the 4 that I use most often for myself and my clients. But again, there are many different exercises that you could swap in for some of these. And if I had somebody here who is just learning how to lift, like today we're gonna do hip thrust first, but that is not how I would structure a program necessarily for a beginner. For a beginner, we're gonna focus more on squat pattern. But for us, squat pattern is actually gonna come 3rd in line. So we're gonna do hip thrust first, because that is going to be the squeezed position for the glutes. So we're gonna start there. It's a really good glute building exercise. So please, again, make sure that you warm up prior to this. We're gonna do 2 high quality working sets. If your sets are high quality, and by that I mean you are working close to failure. So by the time you're done with your set, you feel like you almost couldn't do another repetition. That's a high quality set. You really only need 2 or 3 high quality sets. If you're struggling, like maybe you don't have the equipment necessary to get a high quality set, you may need to do 4 sets or 5 sets. But if you can do a high quality set with heavy weight, then you don't need to do as many sets. So if you do not have a barbell, if you do not have these big plates like this, you can do this body weight to start. You can also just use a dumbbell across your hips. But for me, with my clients and myself, I set myself up with a barbell. I have a pad on the bar, and then I have these bumper plates, which lift the bar high enough off the floor that I can roll it over my legs, and I can get myself in position. Now, I do wish that my block that's behind me was about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches lower. So that's my biggest challenge here with this. I need to get a block that's just a little bit shorter. So you're gonna get your feet cinched up. My feet are maybe just outside of hip width. And then I'm gonna push off the floor, get an elbow up, an elbow up. I'm positioning myself so that my back, I'm just below my shoulder blades, and that is gonna be like a teeter-totter, okay? So I'm actually hinging on the bench just like that, or on the block. So I'm pushing the bar onto my thighs as I come up. You're gonna drop down, chin tucked, push the bar up, and I do a little bit of a hold on each rep. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna do 1 more. 10, I'm gonna hold at the top for a few seconds. And then I'm gonna drop the bar back down. And now I'm gonna sit here for about 2 minutes to allow the ATP to regenerate in my muscle cells before I go do another set, because if I did a high quality working set, my muscles, literally, I cannot do another set unless I wait for at least 2 minutes. So we're gonna maybe go to a commercial break or take your break.
At Armstrong, our customer service is free, always here, and comes from neighbors who know your streets, your schools, and your community. Because connection isn't just what we deliver, it's what we share. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
The Armstrong Neighborhood Channel is your home for sports, community events, and award-winning shows from all of our Armstrong neighborhoods. Check your local listings or tune to Channel 100 to see what's happening in your backyard. Everything local lives on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
All right, so we've rested for 1 to 2 minutes. 2 minutes is better than 1, but I know the rest breaks, they kind of suck because you're gonna feel ready before you're really ready. But hopefully you took your rest break. We're gonna do our second set. Just keep in mind, again, you can get away with 2 sets if they're super high quality sets, really hard. But if you're able, you're gonna do a 3rd set. If you don't feel like you're reaching your max potential, you can go ahead and do a 4th set. Okay, cinch the feet up, push into position, hop the bar where it needs to be, drop the hips, chin tucked, push up with the hips, little pause at the top. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then just for fun at the end, a little hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. All right, so that's your hip thrust. That's the glute in the absolute maximum closed or flexed position. So for a glute-focused leg day, I like to do that one first. Bonus, it tends to get you warmed up for the other lifts that are to come.
Armstrong's Healing Heroes program is celebrating 10 years of bringing hope to veterans in our communities, pairing those living with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, seizure disorders, and more with highly trained service dogs. We've raised over $350,000, helping restore confidence and independence to local veterans. Visit ArmstrongOneWire.com/healingheroes to apply for a Guardian Angels medical service dog. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
So we've got hip thrust out of the way. It probably took you a few minutes to change out your equipment. Next, we've got RDL. So RDL is going to be, we just did the flexed position on the glute. RDL is going to be the stretched position on the glute. You could also do, RDL is Romanian deadlift. So it's going to be more of a straight leg deadlift where we are targeting, we want the stretch back here. We want to feel a stretch in the hamstrings and we're stretching the glute. So we're working it from the stretched position. Now, you could also do Bulgarian split squats for this, but in the interest of, for me, mostly time, I generally stick with RDL. I do occasionally throw in Bulgarian split squats, just for fun. All right, so you're gonna set your bar up to whatever weight, or you can use dumbbells for this as well. I'm gonna do an alternating grip. So for alternating grip, I've got one hand overhand, one hand under. I try to switch in between sets. So you're gonna stand nice and tall. If you had somebody's fingertips at your hips, almost like somebody's just pushing you and your butt's gonna go directly back towards the wall, slight bend to the knees. You wanna keep your back really straight, so no rounding, okay? We don't wanna hurt our backs doing this. So, bar slides down the leg, stop right about mid-shin for me, and then stand back up. Once again, gonna do about 10, 2, You can see I'm trying to exercise lots of control. I'm not just dropping down real fast. The stretch is where the work is happening. There's 9. Last one. Always step forward to re-rack. And we're resting for 1 to 2 minutes.
When connection matters, you deserve more than an internet provider. Armstrong has always been part of the towns we serve, building relationships that matter. Our customer service is free, always here, and comes from neighbors who know your streets, your schools, and your community. When you choose Armstrong, you're choosing a team that's been here for generations and isn't going anywhere. Because connection isn't just what we deliver, it's what we share. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
All right, so we've gotten through our 1 to 2 minute rest. We're gonna do one more set of RDLs. So again, you're gonna step right up to your bar. You never wanna grab your heavy weights way back here. You're gonna hurt your back doing that. So you're gonna step right up to your bar. Step back into your position. My feet are about hip width apart. And then keep the bar very close to your legs. Push the hips back. Back is very straight. I'm feeling for a stretch in the back of my legs and in my glutes. Three. If you do this too fast, you're gonna miss the strength benefits of feeling for the stretch. Because the exercise, this is where it's happening, right here. In that stretched position, it's not at the top. Last one. 10, step forward, rack the weight, and rest again. If you have time, pause, rest, do one more set.
What we did with this new Armstrong Broadband Championship is we kind of took the fiber splicing competition and added some additional elements like a Jeopardy style knowledge game and some real world customer troubleshooting. We also invited several of our vendors to participate. What began as a simple invitation turned into a vendor showcase. They set up tables, sponsored competition events, and donated prizes for the competitors.
We're really excited to see what the techs are capable of doing with the Sumitomo equipment.
The partnership that Sumitomo has with Armstrong today, and seeing the techs be challenged in this capacity, it's really cool to see what level Armstrong is taking their technicians today.
The partnership with Armstrong. We've been working together for many, many years, long before I came to PLP, and I've been there for 14 years. It's great to witness it at another company, especially an ISP such as yourselves. I think it speaks the world to the investment made not only in the system, but the people that work for it.
I've been in the industry for a long time, and I've seen training and the company involvement in a tech's development and those kind of things. I've seen that done poorly in a lot of different places, and it's always a pleasure to come here where I think they prioritize it, and I think they do a wonderful job here at Armstrong.
They compete, they feel good, they get some recognition, which in kind of being the feet on the street, that doesn't happen every day. And it kind of reinforces about why it's important to become educated in what they do and do the right things and put the customer first. So overall, I think it's a really, really, really good thing.
We contacted Buddy Cadwell from Bashland, since they handcraft everything they sell, to create a custom championship belt for the event. Buddy said, "I'll do you one better. Let us sponsor a fully customizable championship belt." 1 month later, our dream became a reality. We retired the Theo Cup, which was our traveling trophy, before this new championship belt. This was a true team effort, and the Armstrong Broadband Championship could not have come together so well without the help of everyone on our Armstrong team and our sponsors who help take it to the next level.
So I'll reiterate that in a glute-focused program where we're really focused on building the back side of the body, I tend to put the squat a little bit later in the workout. If you want to get really good at squat or you're new to lifting, I probably wouldn't have you on a glute building program per se, and we would be putting the squat more towards the beginning of your workout. But since this is a glute building program, I built this program to reflect that we were trying to get more glute activation. So the squat pattern is going to come third out of 4. So if you don't have a barbell, you can use a dumbbell, or if you're very new to this, you could even just do body weight. And the other thing I want to do is I want to show you the difference in squats when it comes to glute activation and glute focus. So a lot of people talk about, I don't know if we can swear on, but we're going to say sass to grass. So a lot of people will tell you that sass to grass is always the way that you want to squat, but not necessarily so with a glute focused squat. And I'm going to show you the difference before we get under the bar here. So sass to grass is this very deep squat, but if you notice my low back right about here kind of rounds down, that actually takes all of the focus off my glutes and puts it right here. So it's not wrong, but if you're trying to do a glute focused squat, we're going to do it almost a little bit like our deadlift that we just did. So you're going to have your weight either in front of you or on your back, and you're going to push your hips way back, but I'm going to stop right about here because this is where I'm getting the biggest stretch on my glutes. All right, so we're gonna do this with the bar. I would normally be in a cage with safeties, but I'm comfortable with the weight that I'm using for this. So if you are squatting, I highly recommend that you do this in a cage that has safeties so that if you lose control of the weight, you can get rid of the bar. All right, so head up, push the hips back, stop right about there, stand back up. Last one. All right, and once again, we're resting for 1 to 2 minutes before we complete a final set of that.
The Armstrong Neighborhood Channel is your home for sports, community events, and award-winning shows from all of our Armstrong neighborhoods. Catch up on events happening in your area, dive into a new hobby, or explore the fascinating places in your region on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Check your local listings or tune to Channel 100 to see what's happening in your backyard. Visit us on YouTube for custom playlists and a full library of your favorite neighborhood channel shows. Everything local lives on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
All right, we've rested, so we're gonna do our final set of squats, and then we're gonna jump into our final exercise. So just as a reminder, with your squat, you want to have your feet probably just outside of hip width, and your toes slightly pointed out. And just remember, we're not going sass to grass. The goal is to get a stretch through the glute muscle and then stop before we lose that stretch. If you go down too low, you're gonna transfer all of the load, not all of the load, but you're gonna transfer a lot of it onto your quads. All right, so grab your weight. Get your foot position. Always take your time getting started. Chin up, elbows back if you've got a barbell on your back, and push the butt backwards. Stop right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you can see that last rep, high quality set, I was struggling on that last rep. So I kind of, the coming back up wasn't quite as fast. It was a little slower. So we'll call that a high quality set. So if you have the time, you can do a third set. Otherwise, we're gonna move on to our final glute building exercise.
Armstrong's Healing Heroes program is celebrating 10 years of pairing local veterans with life-changing, highly trained service dogs. Join us at armstrongonewire.com/healingheroes. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
All right, we are down to the final exercise in our glute building program. Now, this is actually one that sometimes I don't do. In fact, I don't do it very often because a lot of times I'm so tired after the first 3 exercises that I'm like, you know what, I don't need to do this last one. So the last exercise in this rotation is the least important. So it is, it's to get more of the side and the upper glute. But of the 4 exercises, it is the least important, so it comes last. So I've got this fun little cuff on, and I'm gonna give you some other ideas if you don't have cables and a cuff. If you do have access to a gym or you have a cable machine, this works really well. But if you don't have these things, I'll give you some options. All right, so you're gonna kind of keep your foot out to the side. So we're not kicking straight back. You're gonna let it come forward, so I'm getting a stretch on the outside of the hip, and then keeping the foot at the same angle. And same thing, we're gonna do about 10 to 12 of these. There's 8, 9, and 10. So I'm gonna get this switched onto the other foot because I've only got 1 cuff, not 2. So we've got to switch sides. As you can see though, while I'm doing this, really important, you have to have something to hang on to. There's no way that you'll be able to complete this exercise without stabilizing yourself. All right, this side's ready. Same thing. I'm gonna get myself far enough away that I can angle, get that little bit of stretch forward, and then kicking up. And just out to the side, not straight back. I think people like these because it does make everything like you get a really good burn. So it feels like it's working, but the other exercises are far more important than this one. One more. All right. Now with this one, because it's a little easier, okay. Because it's a little bit easier than all of those bigger multi-joint movements like the hip thrust and the squat and the deadlift, you don't need as much rest time. So you can probably get away with 30 seconds to 1 minute. Before we jump back into our final set of these, I will show you a couple of options for doing this if you don't have access to cables. All right, so one way to do this, if you don't have access to cables, is you're gonna hold a weight. You can try this body weight first. You're gonna hold the weight that the side you're holding the weight on, that leg's gonna be off the floor. You're gonna drop, so trying to get a stretch in this side, hold on to something, and then up like this. Now, a lot of people would mistake that this is the working leg. It's not. This is your working leg. We're working this side of the hip. So we're hinging it, or we're stretching, and then we're hinging. So if you don't have a cable, you could do your side glute or your top glute using this movement. All right, and you would complete that on both sides. But since we're doing the cable kickback today, that's where we're gonna put our focus. Okay, final set, and then I'm about spent. All right, so little stretch out here, kicking back, keep the toe out. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And woo, that does make the hips burn. So don't be surprised if you feel that. The burning is normal. All right. Okay. Correct setup. Foot forward, angled out. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. All right, just like with all the other exercises, if you have the time, if you're a little bit more advanced, you can go ahead and add a 3rd set. Or if you didn't feel like, if you don't have the weights to really challenge yourself, that's where you might add a couple of extra sets. But if you're getting really high quality sets, 2 to 3 sets is all you need. 10 to 12 reps for each exercise for each set. So I hope you enjoyed this glute focused lower body workout, and I hope to see you again soon.